Dean of Students, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today. So welcome everyone. We are here for the 7th commencement program for the Northeast Maritime Institute College of Maritime Science. Now please stay standing for the United States National Anthem. All be seated, please. I'm delighted and privileged to be here for the 7th commencement of the Northeast Maritime Institute College of Maritime Science for the graduating class of 2023. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct privilege to introduce you to the Honorable President Eric DeWicki for the welcome address. Eric?
Whenever I hear that honorable, I think of our distinguished board member, Gwen Sykes, who couldn't be here this morning. She was my professor at American University, and she was the first chief financial officer of NASA as a person of color. And she was also the first for the chief financial officer of the Secret Service. And I meet her in class, and they introduce her as the honorable and really push the accolades up very, very high. And she said, "There's nothing honorable about me." And we just all laughed, and we realized that this really incredible human being didn't take herself so seriously that she could achieve amazing accomplishments. So, whenever I get up to this podium, this particular moment, I don't know what I'm going to say. I kind of get this feeling and figure out, okay, how am I really going to talk about you all quickly? And do it with honesty and the highest degree of ethical views of who you are and who this school is and what this school is. And I was thinking this morning that what is our most pressing issue in the maritime industry, in the Coast Guard, in the country, in our town? And the most pressing issue is we need to really better understand the concept of community. Community means so much to so many people. And in this educational institution, we try to certainly hold you guys accountable, right? We're really tough on you. We don't make you do push-ups, but boy, that Quaker guilt is there, isn't it? We really push you to make the right decisions at the right times. But what we've established, where's Ray? Ray and I got to talk this morning, and We talked about his goal and desire about your community as of graduates and as NMI students to truly be the leaders of the industry. I got this big old smile on my face that I did and said, wow. And he talked about his experience at the company he worked for this summer, Edison Schwest, down in the oil patch, which is an amazing company. And he said, you know, we really do have a good reputation already. This is only our 7th graduation. We're still infants, producing mariners through a higher education model. And what have I told you guys? I know you've heard it. I want you to be the best of the best. And I want you all to be the best of the best. And moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, friends, neighbors, relatives, people from our community, my own kids, I want you to be the best of the best. And that doesn't have to be cliche. It's achievable. But while you're becoming the best of the best, these are some of the things your community says about you. You're polite. I couldn't feel better about that one attribution. You're polite. Because you know what? Some graduates from other places aren't necessarily so polite. You might look down their nose on people. You've been taught not to look down your nose at your fellow mariners. You honor the mariner. You're kind. Think about when some of your fellow mariners have stubbed their toes. Did you give them a ration of, you know what? No, you picked them up, you built them up, you embraced their flaws and are helping them to get over their flaws and their shortcomings. How beautiful is that? In this community that you all have created. You operate off of the 3 tenets of success. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to succeed in life, there's 3 things you need to do. Our kids know this. You need to be honest. That doesn't mean cash register honesty. You were taught not to steal when you were in kindergarten, weren't you? Which is wrong, right? But you need to learn honesty when you look yourself in the mirror, you look into your eyes, and you discover who you are. And you start to get honest with yourself. And be okay with who you are, regardless of who you are. You need to learn to love yourself through that honesty. Integrity. Your integrity is the only thing, according to Joseph Frank DeWicki Sr., my grandfather, that you bring with you to your grave. It's the only thing we bring with us to our grave is our integrity. Doesn't matter what people think about us or talk about us. It's what we know about ourselves. We say what we do and we do what we say. Integrity is an invaluable asset to being a human being, never mind being a professional mariner. And work ethic. Moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, friends, neighbors, relatives. You know what we teach our kids? We teach our kids how to outwork the next person next to them by far. Don't ever let anybody outwork you. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm proof of that. Thank God I married up. Mama cleaned up the gene pool. The reality is, work ethic is the one thing that will ensure that you can raise your children and you can pay your bills and meet your debts like every citizen in the world has to do, with a degree of comfort that will create less stress and allow you to have a better life, to do the things that are important. joy, going out fishing, painting, singing, doing whatever it is you want to do in your free time. You're going to be able to do that if you're not stressed about paying your bills. Well, the good news is you're entering a career that is the 6th best paying career in the United States today. And the great thing is you guys are starting to take the lead as trusted servants to your industry and to each other. That's a beautiful thing. So with that, I welcome everybody in this room. I'm grateful. I honor your presence, each and every one of you. But to the 4 graduates, there's a little special feeling for you 4 because you had to deal with a lot. You are the 4 graduates that are our COVID graduates. When I say they went through it, they went through it. They lost an instructor who passed away from COVID. Give me a second. You persevered. You meant something to one another. You earned this degree probably more than anybody has to date because of what you had to deal with. And thank you for your patience with us. And thank you for your kindness with us. And thank you for your success. You are a success story. What I forgot to say to everybody as I started to speak is good morning. And again, thank you for being here to witness such a beautiful experience for these 4 graduates. You're amazing young men, so thank you.
Well, thank you, President DeWicki. Next, I welcome Pam Mello to the podium, our Director of Student Services, who will present the Stoles of Gratitude.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to be able to impart the story of the Stoles of Gratitude because at NMI, we embrace the essence of the following quotation from Thurgood Marshall. None of us got here where we are solely by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got here because someone, a parent, a teacher, an Ivy League crony, or a few nuns bent down and helped us pick up our boots. We embrace that every day. So we'll listen to the story, the legend of the Stole of Gratitude. A long time ago, a monk, traveling the countryside on his pilgrimage, came upon a burned-out village where he found a starving young orphan clutching a tattered piece of cloth that was from his mother's dress. Returning the boy to his monastery, the monk set about teaching the boy to read and write. He trained the boy in literature, history, and scientific thought, and trained him in the skills of debate and negotiation. The boy learned much and grew eager to know more of the world. He left the monastery, traveled to the royal city, and became squire to a knight, who in turn trained him in horsemanship, swordsmanship, and the subtleties of court. After several years, and no longer a boy, the young man's talents were brought to the attention of the king, who made him an advisor to the royal court. Reflecting on his life's journey one day, the boy, who was now a man, felt that he must acknowledge the support of his mentors. He took some of the fabric of his mother's dress, which he had always carried with him, some of the wool from the monastic robes, and some of the silk tunic he now wore. With these, he fashioned 2 cloth stoles, embroidered with the runic symbol of his village, the crest of the knight he had served, and the emblem of the royal court. He then presented those stoles to the monk and the knight, along with letters proclaiming his gratitude. Regardless of all the success he achieved, he never forgot the kindness and generosity of those who supported him. The Stoles became a worldwide tradition and a symbol of achievement for students in all fields of study, with varying colors and emblems symbolizing different levels of study and institutions. Today, the stole is worn during the commencement ceremony. Then shortly after, a new graduate presents the stole to someone who has provided extraordinary help or support from parents, relatives, mentors, whomever imparted that gift. Immediately after graduation, graduates may take the stole from around their necks and place it on the neck of the recipient along with words of thanks. Before we get our stoles, I would like to share a few words about each of our graduates. Noah Rogers was our cohort 12 graduate. He's a native of Richmond, Rhode Island, arriving at NMI as a Navy reservist who had perfected the art of letting things roll off his back. Perhaps that very skill is how Noah successfully navigated the COVID chapter of college as the only member left standing of cohort 12. His just get it done approach allowed others to see a way through those challenging times, and it certainly didn't hurt that Noah's leadership included making sure our students found fun things to do outside of school. Noah had people line dancing, playing impromptu volleyball games, and enjoying other silly shenanigans that are captured in the hearts and minds and even a few photographs of his shipmates. We are grateful for all the roles he played here, but we truly loved him as a morale officer. Noah's first internship was with Tucker Roy Marine, towing and salvage in New Bedford, and his second was with Edison Schwest Offshore in Port Fourchon, Louisiana, and he is currently a full-time employee at Coastal Line Transit, a partnership with Staffs Mills Marine serving the wind industry in New Bedford, Mass. Would you please come to the stole? Frederick. This is cohort 13, all right? Oh, 13. Goodness. So many numbers. Bodie Frederick, a South Mills, North Carolinian, arrived at NMI with some prior knowledge from his Coast Guard JROTC program. Thank you, Alkeith. Comfort with learning and a subtle wit. He quickly became known as the guy who could help others break down the challenging lessons, and shipmates knew he was willing to assist them with assignments. By his senior semester, he had harnessed his quick wit, and his ability to insert humor in the right context served as a tool to unite the students. His academic performance during his first 2 semesters earned him a spot at one of the top internships. Bodie was also helpful to his cohort by keeping the focus on the tasks at hand to ensure a successful final semester for all. Bodie's first internship was with Polar Tankers in Houston, and his second was with Poling and Cutler Marine Transportation in Freehold, New Jersey, and he is currently a full-time employee at Poling and Cutler. Bodie, would you please come picture? Next we have Adam Orweiler. He came to us from Bristol, Rhode Island with a work ethic that wouldn't quit and a noteworthy reluctance to be called a student. He eventually embraced all the habits that led him to a path to be successful here at school. In fact, he had one of the best English summer at sea projects that we've seen in quite a while. Adam's natural optimism and intense work rate and lighthearted approach to everything informed his leadership and allowed him to be successful whenever he was tasked with managing any group. He, along with other graduates today, provided the underclassmen with guidance they needed to grow and learn to be successful here at NMI. Adam's first internship was with Stevens Towing in North Carolina, and his second was with Coastal Transportation in Seattle, Washington. And after a quick trip to Puerto Rico, he will be continuing his full-time employment at Coastal Transportation. Adam, would you please come? He hails from Atlantic, North Carolina, arrived here with his genteel ways and a whole lot of sunshine. He struggled with the northern weather and the gruff New Englanders, but he stayed the course. He soon learned his charm alone would not help him pass his courses, so he began to study. By senior semester, he was not only submitting stellar work, he was also submitting his assignments early. Nick's leadership and aptitude emerged soon after he arrived and revealed itself in his kindness. He would listen to shipmates who needed an ear, walk beside the slowest, loneliest, or just the feeling bluest. He worked to include, to make welcome, and to buoy his shipmates, and that warmth is at the core of his leadership. Nick's first internship was with Cuddy Hunt Ferry right here in New Bedford. He stayed north, despite his southern roots, for that first one. And his second was his Edison Schwest in Port Fourchon, and he is currently a full-time employee at Edison Schwest. Would you please come?
Wow, well, congratulations, guys. That was awesome. Thank you. Now, next up, I welcome Dr. Angela DeWicki, Chief Academic Officer of Northeast Maritime Institute, to present our Lemley List Award.
Good morning. So happy to see everybody here today. This is always just such a heartwarming day for us to celebrate our graduates and all that they have achieved, and just exciting that you all have full-time jobs. I definitely did not have a job when I graduated. It's a lot of stress. So I am here to present the Lemley List Awards, and that is our honors program. They are named after Captain Norman W. Lemley, and a student in any semester during which they successfully complete 15 or more credits with grades no lower than a C, and who have held a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 or above, receive this award at any time in any semester. Today, we're going to give an award to a student who obtained the Lemley List honors all 4 semesters they were here, which is pretty exciting. The award is named after Norman Lemley. All of our students take classes in Lemley Hall, named after Norman Lemley. And he served with the U.S. Coast Guard in 2 different capacities over a period of 36 years. And he was very instrumental in promoting maritime safety, security, and pollution prevention. And his last position with the U.S. Coast Guard was at the head of the National Maritime Center, which we all know is the entity that oversees and issues your Coast Guard license, which is how you get to work. It's a big position, a lot to manage, and you did a great job. So today, we are going to be, I'm not going to read all of this because I read it every year, and we all know how wonderful he is. We've all read his plaque, I believe, over at Lemley Hall. If you haven't, you need to do that, because he was an amazing human being and committed to the U.S. Coast Guard and maritime safety. So today, we are honored to present the Lemley List Honor to Bowden Frederick, who was in attendance, and he obtained the Lemley List Honors all 4 semesters and worked really hard. So we're happy.
Awesome. Congratulations, Brody. Hard work is on. Thank you so much, Dr. Dwecky. Next up, we have our registrar, Valerie Stewart, to present the Kehoe Award.
I now have the honor to present the Kehoe Award to one of our graduates. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Senior Chief Kehoe. also known as Jules, who we created and named this award after. Senior Chief Kehoe. Jules was a highly respected and much loved faculty member in the Nautical Science Department, who left us much too soon. Senior Chief Kehoe retired from the U.S. Coast Guard as Chief Boatswain Mate just days before starting the NMI's program. After an honorable career serving her country and contributing to the safety of our seas, the rank insignia for the Chief Petty Officers in the USCG tells the story of the trials and lessons that come with the responsibility of the position. One symbol in particular stands out. The chain followed around the anchor is known as the sailor's disgrace, reminding the chief that there may be times when there are circumstances beyond their control in the performance of a task or duty, yet a chief must still complete the task. It is during these times that humility and fortitude are brought together. Jules embodied this. With her example, showed all our students how to carry themselves with dignity, pride, and how to get the job done correctly in the face of any obstacle. The award itself reads, this honor is awarded to a student merit that reflects NMI's core values of honesty, integrity, and hard work, and demonstrated sustained exceptional standards of proficiency and conduct, and whose professional appearance and bearing are consistently impeccable. This award shall be in recognition of student mariners that demonstrate through action that they are following the example and tradition of Senior Chief Boatswain Mate Jules Kehoe, USCG retired. At this time, I'd like to recognize Adam O'Reilly.
Congratulations, Adam, to both you and Bodie. Very well done. Next, we have Captain Aaron Paulino, who will has a message for all of us. Sorry.
Good morning. I don't have any awards to give out. Just some words to hopefully move you guys to a wonderful career. So 2 years ago, cohort 13 arrived at NMI, really not quite knowing what was going to happen. A couple days after getting here, they were bundled up aboard Fritha and underway for Gloucester. Kind of put your feet right in the fire to start your maritime education. And then, arriving in Gloucester, they were eagerly joined there by Noah from cohort 12. And this pattern continued in activities, classes, on and off campus adventures that Noah arranged for people to go on. 2 cohorts, never quite separated, working together. And from the start, we learned to rely on each other, work together, and grow together. And the bonds that you formed here are the true bonds of shipmates. When you go to sea for months at a time and have no choice but to interact with the same small group each day, interesting relationships develop. You aren't always happy to be together, but in the end, you learn to count on each other's strengths and shoulder up each other's weaknesses. In your 4 semesters here, there was no doubt that these bonds formed. You came to us individuals from different backgrounds and experience, fresh out of high school, a few years working, Navy reservist, didn't matter. You came to know and rely on each other, and this will serve you well in life. On paper, you leave here with a degree in nautical science, a knowledge of navigation and seamanship, a continuation of the maritime traditions that many people think are relegated to the pages of history. For you, they are real. They are important and will factor into your life long after you leave the classroom. But this is only a part of what you have gained here. In addition to the technical knowledge, there's another piece. We have 3 tenets of success here at NMI: honesty, integrity, and hard work. If you're standing here or sitting here in front of me, there's no question in my mind that you all know how to do the last one. You've shown it time and again in class and on your internships. And if you keep up that hard work, you'll always have a job in this industry. Honesty. If you're honest, especially when you mess up, you'll be able to earn trust and respect. With honesty and hard work, there's very little you won't be able to accomplish. Integrity. Doing the right thing even when no one is looking, especially when that choice isn't easy. You'll always be faced with shortcuts, easy ways out. At times, these will result in success. When every card falls in your favor, you may get to wipe the nervous sweat off your brow and chalk up a near miss. More often, these will result in losses. So maintain your integrity. People will follow your example. The maritime industry is small and your reputation precedes you, so make it a good one. This graduation is a little different than most traditional college commencements. When you walk out of this room, you will be a graduate of NMI. That part is true. And like most schools, you'll be able to put that on your resume, hang the diploma on the wall, and be proud of your accomplishment. But that is only one part of it. You are not only a college graduate, you are also a merchant marine officer. And in that, you've gone from a student to a peer in 2 short years. This license is substantial. Just by having it, you can find yourself in positions where people will look to you for advice and assistance. But don't forget what we've told you here again and again. This is a license to learn. I was in your position once. 23 years old, with a newly minted Coast Guard ticket in hand, running boats the length of the East Coast. I was lucky all the cards fell in line. It took a few years and a few near misses for me to realize there was a whole lot that I didn't know. But thankfully, I realized that. We've given you a lot of information and shared a lot of experiences, but we're not done with it. When you walk out of these doors, you walk into a close-knit community of mariners, our community. So continue to ask us questions. Let us know if you need a meal or a bed when you're passing through. You may have started here as students, but now you're shipmates.
Thank you, Captain Paulino. I am honored to introduce our next speaker, Jennifer Yount. Jennifer is the owner and sole proprietor of Deep Blue Consultancy, an executive and leadership coaching and leadership training and consulting business. Her programs and services focus on transforming leaders and teams. Additionally, she facilitates organizations and teams with strategies that foster a climate which values diversity, equity, and inclusion. She is an International Coach Federation credentialed professional and an accredited professional coactive coach through the Coaches Training Institute. She's also a faculty member with the American Management Association and she serves on the Board of Trustees for the Northeast Maritime Institute, and as a member on the Advisory Board on Women in the Coast Guard. Finally, she has over 18 years teaching management and leadership courses at the undergraduate, graduate, and executive MBA level at numerous universities in the San Francisco Bay Area. Her career includes 40 years as an accomplished leader in the U.S. Coast Guard, maritime communities, higher education, and small business ownership. Before beginning her own business, she spent 5 years as the Director of Leadership Development at the California Maritime Academy, a campus of California State University, and 3 years as an assistant professor in the Maritime Transportation Department. Before entering higher education, she had a successful background in strategic planning and achieving results with over 20 years of service in the U.S. Coast Guard, culminating in her assignment as Ship's Commanding Officer. She spent over 4 years in human resource management and policy positions at the Coast Guard headquarters in Washington, D.C. Additionally, she spent almost 8 years in operational resource management, oversight, planning, and coordination positions in response to significant national and international issues. Not only has she commanded a military ship at sea, she also held the license of master steam or motor vessels of any gross tons upon oceans. Excuse me, that was a tongue twister. But massive. She was one of the first women to graduate from a military academy after graduating from the United States Coast Guard Academy in London. Excuse me. Connecticut. With a Bachelor of Science in Marine Science. Additionally, she's a member of the Coast Guard's Academy's Athletic Hall of Fame for basketball and volleyball. Maybe you and Angela can play a little volleyball basketball game later. She also earned a Master's of Business Administration degree with honors from Barry University of Miami, Florida. Please give me a very warm welcome for Jennifer Yount.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Gosh, and let's just get to it. Most importantly, let's talk about who's really being honored here today, and it's these four young gentlemen sitting in front of me. So, just really glad to be here and to be with you all today. So, thank you. I flew in the other day from California, and I just want to say that where I come from, we call this liquid sunshine. For several reasons, one of which is okay, so when I speak, I use curse words, so I'm sorry if you have a problem with that. I have been in too many damn fires where I live, and every little bit of water we just praise God for. So when it comes out of the sky, we thank God for it, and that's why we call it liquid sunshine where I come from. So we always hope that you guys could send a little to us periodically. So liquid sunshine is looking pretty good here right now. So thank you for that. Anyways, as I was thinking about what to say, I wanted to reflect on the journey you're completing, but more so on the larger one you're about to begin. When I did that, I reflected on my own journey, and particularly the journey that I took as I prepared to take captain of my first ship. And I ended up focusing on 5 words. And these words are choice, team, fail, respect, and frivolity. Okay? So, now we're going to find out how they all fit together. All right? So first, I believe a first impression recipe, all right, is an equal balance of self-confidence. We need to add in humility, and then we want to mix that with optimism and adaptability. Okay, so that's the first thing. So 1, you have to be proud of who you are. 2, you have to value who you are. Next, you have to decide, are you ready to represent yourself? And then you have to look at what is possible for who you are becoming. And that's the possibility of your future. What we're looking at here, and as I look at it, is you have a choice. The choice is the glass is half full or the glass is half empty. The real reality is the level in that glass hasn't changed. Yet each of us gets to make a choice. From an optimistic or half full perspective, we can achieve far more than we believed possible if we come from that place of half full. And, okay, I need a little bit of participation here as we go too. And how many of us have worked or lived with a half-empty person? And how much fun is that, right? That's not who we want to be. We want to be that half-full person. Okay, that half-empty person is blah. That's not who we are. That's not who we want to be, and that's not who you guys are just in watching you. So we're thinking optimistic, half-full. So yesterday I saw you ironing shirts. I saw you cleaning as a team with pride and professionalism, with enthusiasm. That's all of you. I saw all of you doing this, all right? all 3 rows. Once you walk out these doors, you're going to encounter many different perspectives. You are going to be able to choose. You get to choose, are you going to shower? Are you going to shave? Here's my favorite one. I found this a lot on ships. Are you going to wear deodorant? All right. Will you change your clothes every day? Will you do your laundry? Okay, I mean, I'm just talking about some really basic things here that seem to go astray when you go to sea. I don't quite know why. You can choose to be the most professional mariner on your ship. It's your choice. And you get to make it. So here's what I'm asking you. Which choice do you want to make? Do you want to be half full, or do you want to be half empty? Okay, so far so good. Moms, dads, family, and friends, you're doing okay so far. All right. The day I retired, I recognized 2 individuals by name. One was my second in command, pretty obvious, and the other was my lead helmsman, one of the most junior individuals on the entire ship. While I was in command of my ship, I only gave helm commands 3 times. Each time was in near extremis situations, and for those of you that don't know, that means that the stuff was going south really, really fast, and it was not good. Let's just put it that way. So the buck was going to stop with me. If we were going to do something, hit something, it was going to be me. So anyways, I had a very strong belief that my helmsman was one of the most integral members of my bridge team. And he attended all briefings and actually sat beside me. In time, he began to understand my mannerisms. Now, realize I never said anything. All right, for almost 2 years, I sat quiet on my bridge, in my chair. I had a very nice high chair. I looked very nice sitting there, coming in the port. Okay? But he began to understand my mannerisms, and he knew when I was about to speak. He could see that I was about to open my mouth. All right? And he stepped forward in immediate response to the commands that came out of my mouth, and in each situation thwarted disaster. Okay? Most days, he understood his role was just to follow commands. However, he also understood as a great follower that the ship's well-being was dependent on his situational awareness of what the heck was going on around him. Only through the grace of God and his awareness did Dauntless not become a monument atop a coral head by Buoy 3 in Key West Harbor one day. True story. As a great team member, you must know your strengths and shortcomings and those of your members around you. You must know when it's your responsibility to move into a position of greater responsibility and to take the lead. If you see a hazard ahead, you must say something. Okay? The key is what? You must say something. It's your job. It's your responsibility. The cost of not doing so has ended many mariners' lives in Davy Jones's locker. Remember, there is only one right and one wrong. Northeast Maritime has taught you right from wrong, and frankly, there are no shortcuts and there are no bypasses. Who's ready to call out on the bridge? I had to make this a little humorous because it was getting a little deep. Who's ready to call out on the bridge that there's a pink elephant with purple polka dots on a barge crossing dead ahead of you? Yeah, you ready for that? Okay, pink elephant, purple polka dots. That's really hard to say, I want you to know, all right? across and dead ahead, folks. Big one. All right, man, we gotta call that sucker out. Okay? Okay. We're calling out the pink elephant. Sometimes that's what it looks like too out there, and we don't say a word. Trust me. All right, next. 2 of my favorite sayings, which I use as a foundation for my own life, is fail faster to succeed sooner, which is by David Kelly, and shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars, by Norman Vincent Peale. All right, I spend a lot of time walking in the stars. Haven't really hit the moon very often, but boy, the stars look pretty daggone good up there, I'm telling you what. The view's not bad, okay? As leaders, we have to remember that we're all lifelong learners. The captain already talked about that. Okay, your learning has just begun. Therefore, accepting learning integration as a lifelong pursuit is a gift. It also gives us permission to accept our failings. Now, one of the key things that I want you to listen to is that you are not a failure when you fail. Okay, the difference here is this, is that we have permission to fail over and over again. I get to fail, I have permission to fail, because I know I have a lifetime to continuously improve. All right? I'm thankful to accept that I'm not perfect. Anybody here feel like they're a perfectionist? Screw that. That's gone. Get rid of that one. That ain't gonna happen. Okay? I've made mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. All right? What I do know is that I'm creating an ever-expanding version of myself, of not just who I am, but of who I want to become. All right? Yep, look at me. I'm an old lady. I have gray hair, and I'm still creating an ever-expanding version of who I want to become. All right? I'm not done. I think I'm still beginning. There's a lot of me left to go. All right, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm just getting warmed up. All right? I believe if you don't try, you can't fail. If you don't fail, you can't learn. And if you don't learn, you're never going to grow. Or said another simpler way, I'm giving this to you because I'm a simple sailor, so sometimes I just have to make it really easy. Mess up, learn, repeat. Mess up, learn, repeat. Okay, easy. All right, trust me, it's not going to feel good when we mess up. Okay, it's going to feel messy, it's going to feel dirty, we're not going to like it, we'll probably let somebody down, we hate it. All right? But here's what I'm going to leave here with, this idea of, did Mooring Navigator initially feel more like dock ramming 101? Yep. See, I even remember those days. I still have a twitch. Right? Not Navigator, but other things. What about the last time you brought her alongside? What did that feel like? Yeah. Okay, you're getting it, yeah? All right, yes, trust me, I've hit a dock 1 or 2 or more times. I've had to back out of piers and slips several times because my first approach was crappy. I'm trying to be nice to all the mothers and grandmothers and moms and dads. At least once or twice or ... I've wrapped an aft mooring line around my shaft, ensuring my crew could not get home for 2 more days. And do you want to know how good that made me feel? And how happy my crew was with me on that little darling, after being gone for over 2 months. Thank you so much. Yes, I felt like crap. And I learned from each one of those situations. All right? And what I did is that I stood up and begged. I begged for more opportunities to do more. Okay, I wanted to do more so I could try again and again. And when it came time for me to be captain, I felt as if, my ship's name was Dauntless. It's a really cool name, Dauntless. Dauntless. I felt as if the throttles and my hands became one with Dauntless. When my hands were on the throttles, I was one with that ship. I could feel that ship's movement. And that did not feel like dock ramming 101. Okay, she and I were one human being. Okay? I could feel her, I knew her, and the only reason that ever happened was because I failed over and over again, and I learned because of that. So I am giving you each permission today to fail. Pick yourself up off the floor, dust your backsides off, learn from it, and fail again. Are you guys ready to fail? Are you all there in these rows ready to fail?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent, that's what we like to hear. Okay. Admiral James Lloyd, who was the 21st Commandant of the Coast Guard, was my leadership guide, my mentor, and my friend, and he's also Vince Patton's. He stated that respect is one of the least talked about and most important values in leadership. It's important because from respect springs many other qualities such as caring, compassion, understanding, and effective communication. Most of us grew up following the Golden Rule. However, today's diverse, dynamic world requires us to live by the Platinum Rule. Treat others as they wish to be treated. Treat others as they wish to be treated. To do so, we must learn to view the world as others see it, to adapt our communication style to their style, to embrace our differences while admiring the strengths of theirs. And there is only one way to know this. Okay? We must talk to them. The key word is talk. You can't text them. You can't IM them. You got to talk to them. This could be a novel approach for some people. It's going to require you to open your mouth, look people face to face, okay? It's going to be new. And you need to not only listen with your ears, but you also have to listen with your heart. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? What emotions are they showing? All right, you need to be curious about what's important to them. Not understanding is not an excuse. All right? Finally, you will be working in and with the world's greatest merchant marine, Coast Guard, and Navy. However, all three of these are in a massive battle with respect. The moral fiber of these great organizations are being tested by a history of systemic harassment, hazing, and assault. You must live by your personal values and the values you have learned here at NMI. You must know and feel your truth. Then state your truth out loud. As seagoing services, we can no longer allow these actions to exist, and it needs to end today, beginning with you, and me. All of us need to be courageous leaders and take a stand against right and wrong. There are no rites of passage to become a shipmate. That is hazing or even worse. Your rite of passage ends today upon graduation, and your voice of leader becomes even louder today. Which of you is ready to say, "Not on my ship," and really mean it? I want to hear "not on my ship."
On my ship.
Okay. We're getting close, don't worry. It's getting to the fun stuff now, though, it's okay. I got through all the serious stuff up front. Okay, as a young person, I had fun playing outside with my friends. Yet I didn't ask my mother, could I go outside and have fun? I asked, can I go outside and play? Which implied what? Having fun. Then at some point, my life having fun became thought of as a frivolous activity. I assume because of societal norms such as adults should be serious and practical human beings. All right? I can only assume because work implies what? Unfun. Adults who are working can't be having fun, be happy, or be smiling. So here's a little side story. So I go, my ship is in Houston, or Galveston, Texas. So I go to the Air Force Base there, well, where all the astronauts go, to get my portrait taken to retire. And I'm smiling, and they tell me, the official portrait guide says, you have to stop smiling. We don't take portraits when you're smiling. And I said, well, then you're not taking my portrait. There's only one way to take a portrait of me, and it's with a smile. And he's like, oh, we don't do that. He said, all of our astronauts are very serious. And I said, well, one, I'm not your astronaut, but two, you're going to take a picture with a smile, or we're not taking a picture today. So yes, guess what? There was a smile that day. But anyways, it's like, what do you mean I can't smile? What's that all about? And why can't an astronaut smile? I don't know that either, but anyway, supposedly they're not supposed to smile. Anyways, this whole idea about work being unfun, I believe is propaganda that we're sold as young people. I'm not suggesting that every moment of every day is fun. In fact, I've had many not so fun days. However, I am suggesting that at the end of most days, I've had a fun and enjoyable day. Again, I am struck when hearing Dr. Covey speak one day about carrying your own weather. This is Dr. Stephen Covey. Carrying your own weather within you. He said, and I was thinking about this as he was talking, how do you feel on a cloudy, rainy, cold day? I don't feel so good. How do I feel on a sunny, warm day? I feel pretty alive. All right? What I know is that the weather impacts me. So I think back to this, and I realized I have to choose. Whoops, we're back to choice again. I get to choose what weather I am going to carry with me. I get to choose what weather I am going to carry with me. You were the morale officer, right? You were choosing the weather you were carrying with you. For everybody. Or portray any given moment or any given day. I remember feeling a sense of freedom after hearing those words, a freedom that I could smile more. That was a pretty cool thought. I get to smile more. I get to laugh more. I even get to wear brighter colors. All right? I don't have to be that person anymore. All right? And most importantly, I got to spread my sunshine. Okay? I got to be Jennifer. Isn't that pretty cool to think that I could just be myself and carry my own weather around with me? All right? Earlier I stated I recognized two people the day I retired. The other was my second command in Dauntless, and his name's Steve Baines. Steve was infamous for saying, it's all good. And the fact he said, no matter the severity of the situation, eventually Steve would say, it's all good. Even after almost becoming part of the Coral Head in Key West, and getting back into the channel safely, he looked at me and said, it's all good, Captain. Ready for Angie and I to take the ship back into the pier? Steve, you've got it. It's like, it's all good, Captain. Okay, yeah, I'm breathing now, it's all good. As mariners, we are presented with opportunities daily to be amazed and delighted by the world we work in, the ocean. Right outside your door, you get to witness the wonders of SeaWorld. The key word is witness. I had the opportunity one Easter morning to have a humpback whale swim up alongside Dauntless, turn, and hold my gaze and look into my eyes. It was a glorious moment. I've never stood a night watch that I can remember without spending time on the bridge watch stargazing and feeling they were so close I could reach up and touch them. Or sailed a night in the Caribbean where I wasn't mesmerized by the phosphorescence of the water and the flying fish on my bow wake. Or wondered at the beauty of bottle-nosed dolphins playing joyfully on that same bow wake. Going to sea is hard and arduous work with long hours. However, you can choose what weather you're going to carry with you, and the sea is there to help you. Use her to provide you with opportunities for joy and pleasure. Who's ready to set their barometer for high pressure with clear skies and calm winds? I thought that was a pretty good metaphor.
Very good. Excellent.
Thank you. You like it? I worked on that one. That was 2 cups of coffee in this morning. Okay, in closing, I urge you to remember you have a support network here at NMI that you should never hesitate to reach out to, and I hope each of you find the joy and happiness at sea that I have. I want to share a quote by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, which was said to me the day I assumed command of Dauntless. One ship sails east and another west, by the self-same winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails and not the gales that tells us the way to go. I wish each of you fair winds and following seas. Honor the mariner. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Now please give a warm welcome to Dr. Vincent Patton, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, with the conferring of degrees.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and especially to our graduates, to our future graduates. You will all be in this position soon. So at this moment, graduates, please rise. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the President of Northeast Maritime Institute, College of Maritime Science, I hereby confer the degree and graduation from this institution. Congratulations.
That's quite all right. You will come to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! We are gathered here to celebrate the achievements, hard work, and dedication of our graduates. We will now begin the most important part of the graduation ceremony. As Dr. Patton said, you're here to receive your degrees. He conferred them. He's the guy in charge that says, yeah, they're done. It's amazing. You know, it really is amazing. Noah Curtis Rogers. Come on up. in honor of Hurricane Lee, Nicholas Lee Joyner. Adam L. Orweiler. I think we need to all stand up and applause. These kids work really hard. I'm just going to make some closing remarks. These guys are like, this president. I'll keep it short. In all seriousness, you guys persevered. You grew as individuals tremendously. You know, Noah, you really were a guy that kept everybody elevated during a tough time. You brought them down to the fort, we played volleyball, and you guys did things together. And I was actually amazed by that because we hadn't seen that prior to you being here. And I hope you folks in back talk to Noah and figure out how to keep that going, because it really was an important piece of keeping that community together. And that was a bigger deal than you realize. Bodie, I'm going to tell you something. I don't think I've seen a student here grow as much as an individual as you do. You and I know what we're talking about. You're smart, but there are some things you really had to kind of loosen up. And, boy, you grew. You really took some tough conversations and grew immensely as just a kind, compassionate human being. And really, that's a beautiful thing. Nikki Lee. You and I know. And I love you, kid. And I really, proud. It's good stuff, When you see somebody really rise and break those chains in life and walk from a struggle into a path of success, it wasn't easy for him as a kid growing up. And he has achieved, and he's going to continue to achieve beyond belief. This kid is going to be a success story, I know it. Adam, you worked harder than anybody I've seen go to this school. And what you didn't know is that you knew. And what you learned is how to trust yourself and how to trust your intellect. You're one smart kid, and I hope you realize that. Because you really are an achiever. And you, too, are going to have great success. All four of you guys are going to have great success. But, sometimes when you skin your nose, that's the greatest thing that can happen to you. Embrace your mistakes, Jennifer. I tell my kids and myself every morning, embrace your mistakes, because I know I'm going to make about a dozen today. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy who you are. And continue continue to stay curious. You've heard that from me before. And continue to learn. And hopefully, we have that online bachelor's degree for you guys that you can get while you're at work in a few years. And that's going to be your success story, is continuing that upward mobility. And you students with the blue shirts and the yellow ties, the funny looking yellow ties, look at these four. They're great examples of really persevering during tough times. And they not only achieved, they overachieved, but they created community. And I know you guys sitting in the back have a really wonderful community going on as a student body at NMI. It's really amazing. The last 2 years at NMI, I've been blown away by the leadership, by the community that we've created, that you have created, Noah. And it's a beautiful thing. Not only do you need to maintain your community within, but look around the room and remind yourself your community is where you live, where you travel to, where you represent yourself on the vessels and other places. While the world is your oyster, the ocean is your pearl. Never forget that. Because that is one amazing community that is always going to thrive. It's always going to thrive. You are getting to walk into the career of probably the most notable unsung heroes in the world, the professional mariner. Without you, we have nothing. Remember that responsibility that goes with that. Remember the kindness and compassion that goes with that. Because you must lead. And the greatest leaders of men and women are those who lead with compassion. The NMI way. I'm excited for you guys. I really am. I think about it often. We have some former students here. I think about their careers. You really are in for one hell of a life. It's just starting. Okay? So thank you for allowing us to be part of that. Thank you for trusting us to be part of that. Moms, dads, grandparents, thank you for sharing your children and your grandchildren and your neighbor kids and your former students. Thank you, seriously. Because they make us better human beings. Ladies and gentlemen, I think these four kids especially deserve one last round of applause. And for all of us, please remember to be kind, compassionate, empathetic, and leaders within your local community, your state community, and your national community, and your global community. The world needs to be a nicer place to each other. And as my daughter's dear friend used to say, just be kind. Just be kind. That's it. Let's get out of here and celebrate.